Welcome back. It's still me, Emma Kuragova. Now that you've gotten your great list of ideas from your newsroom, let's talk about how to use empathy and interrogation to develop those nuggets into the seeds of a product pitch. In the final video for this module, we'll discuss how to fully groom that idea into a pitch and bring it to the table. We've all had that boss or editor who has lots of opinions about how you should build the website or update the app, the newsletters, the search engine, the CMS, whatever, which is great. And we're all very fortunate to have vocal power users sharing their feedback with us. But how can we work to elevate the voices of others from within the company? How can we ensure that remote folks are being heard, new staff are being heard, and that people with a long-standing history within the company are also being heard? One of the key skills for product managers and product thinkers is empathy. You need empathy for your engineers, the designers, the stakeholders, and most importantly, the users. The dictionary defines empathy as the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. With empathy, you are able to build trust, which is another key skill in the product management toolkit. Trust is so important for product work because it allows the team to believe that everyone is coming to the table with their best intentions. Using empathy in product thinking can be as simple as challenging your colleagues to think about a different kind of user or to consider thinking about their problem from a different point of view. Let's use author pages on a news website as an example of a feature that often gets a lot of feedback internally. This is the page that you land on if you click through on the byline of an article, and it will show you the author's photo, their bio, their contact information, and a list of their stories. I found that journalists often use these pages to share their work with friends and family, meaning they often have a lot of thoughts on how to improve these pages. So let's say one of the themes that arose during your brainstorming session was a need to revamp or give some love to those pages. You might have heard feedback like, "I wish our author pages were less functional and more beautifully designed," or "My bio page looks outdated and I wish it were easier to update," or, worst of all, "Stories are missing from my author page." So when you meet with your team to discuss the future of these pages, you'll want to invite them to clearly articulate the problem at hand, then walk you through some potential solutions. I really love these tips from the Stanford D School on interviewing for empathy. They include, ask why, even when you think you know the answer. And never say usually when asking a question. Instead, ask about a specific occurrence, such as, tell me about the last time you blank. Encourage stories, because stories reveal how users think about the world. Look for inconsistencies. Pay attention to nonverbal cues. Don't be afraid of silence. When you allow for silence, you give users time to reflect on their answers, just like in reporting out a story. Ask questions neutrally and don't suggest answers. Don't lead your stakeholder or your user. Make sure that your question is neutral and simple and easy to understand. Encourage your team to think like the reader. So, why would a reader come to this page? What does a reader of this website need from an author bio page? How will they arrive at or navigate to this page? And what actions will the reader take when they land on the author bio page? Is this the action that we designed or intended for? And is this behavior something that we're tracking? Next, encourage your team to look at the problem from a business standpoint, looking at it from the other side of the table. What's the benefit to the business for investing in better designed, more functional author pages? Will it help build brand loyalty? If you're a revenue product, does this move users up a level in the acquisition funnel? Are there programmatic ads running on these pages? How does investing in the author page help the company make progress toward a big picture goal? And who stands to gain the most benefit from building this feature? Now that you've used empathy to understand the problem from various points of view, it's time to get a bit more rigorous and interrogate your ideas to make sure they really are good ones. An easy way to start the interrogation process is to map out your team's assumptions. You can do this as a formal exercise with sticky notes or a whiteboard, or you can just chat through the assumptions informally as a group. Ask your colleagues, what are we assuming about our casual users? What are we assuming about our loyal users? What are we assuming about their intentions, their choices, behavior patterns, reactions and feedback? What are we assuming about the product and technology team, their priorities, their resources, their responses and reactions? And what are we assuming about the news product, how it currently performs as a whole, how certain features were built or perform individually, and about the state of desktop versus mobile web versus mobile apps versus off-platform channels? This is an area where you'll need to use a lot of empathy. Someone may have founded their idea on industry research that doesn't apply to your situation. Someone else may not know that there are distinct personas within the audience. Someone else may have seen something cool at another newsroom that your team simply can't accommodate. As the product thinker, you probably have access to the bigger picture. You can talk to designers about the user experience. You can talk to the analytics team about performance data. You can talk to the product team about their roadmap and prioritization plans. This phase is a good place to educate your team and help them connect the dots. All right, so let's go back to the example about the reporter bio pages. One assumption is that these pages have great value to the outside user. This is probably very true if you're the grandmother of your newsroom star reporter. It's probably less true, however, if you're a casual reader who came into the site sideways via social media. Interrogating this idea allows us to say, which user are we currently building and designing for? Are we trying to convert side door traffic into loyal users who may someday pay for our news product? Are we trying to elevate the profiles of our individual journalists as a means of gaining new subscribers? And what is the action we want our user to take after reading an article, and how does updating this feature work to guide that user? A great way to interrogate ideas is to use the 5 whys framework, which works exactly how it sounds. You take the problem at hand with the potential solution, then ask why 5 times to get to the core of the issue and idea. Sometimes you'll only have to ask why 3 or 4 times before you and your teammates come to realize that the problem at hand is only affecting a small group of users, or learn that there isn't really a solid case to be made for solving that particular problem at this moment in time. You don't only have to ask why and leave it at that. You could also ask, why do you think that? Why is this the user you want to serve? Or why would we make this a top priority? If, after 5 rounds of why questioning, you've still got a solid answer with a clear problem, it means you probably have a good idea on your hands. So let's look at another example. I recently built a feature template for my newsroom. We thought at first that we wanted to build something that would serve long-form stories, but when we fully interrogated the idea, we found that what we needed was a flexible, visually charged story template that could accommodate medium and long stories. So the 5 whys framework worked a little something like this. I think we need a long-form template. But why? So that our readers know that some of our stories are special. But why? So that when they arrive at a special story, it signals to them that we spent extra time and care with it, so we hope that they will spend extra time and care with it. But why? Well, completion rates are currently very low for our longer articles. This template could be optimized for page completion and longer reader sessions. Why does that matter? Well, when a reader doesn't complete the article, we're leaving programmatic ad revenue on the table for each session. Why does that matter? Our company has a goal of raising programmatic ad revenue by X% this year, and this could be a way to contribute to that pool while also elevating the storytelling. In conclusion, we found that a story template that visually signals to the reader that they've landed on something special could be optimized for page completion, which would lead to higher programmatic ad yields. Whew. Okay, so now that you've challenged your assumptions and validated the need for your problem solutions, it's time to gather data, make your case, and make the pitch. Tune into the next video and we'll keep the ball rolling.